today before we got here about possibly streaming a rehearsal or something.
Okay.
Just to get something going. And my wife mentioned, she asked me yesterday about that also, if we were going to do something. So we're talking about it, and I think we'll see what happens for the most part.
So, are you going to be doing it via YouTube? Are you going to do Facebook Live? Which one of the medias?
I gotta figure all that out yet. I don't know.
We'll talk.
You'll got to talk to our tech guy over here.
You and I can actually. I've actually talked to a few other artists that have had questions about doing the same thing, and the programs that I use, which are normally flawless. And I don't know why we're having issues today, but for some reason this Sunday the gremlins are out and harassing us hardcore. So what's in the future now that the venues are currently closed? Obviously, you can't play out. But I know a lot of places are going to rebook you in future dates when things come open. Hopefully. What are you doing in the meantime to prepare for that? Are you maybe taking the show that you had planned and rearranging it, saying, hey, we got time now, we can add this or we can do that? Or are those things kind of coming into play as you're doing this?
We're always working on new songs. So regardless of if we have a show 2 weeks in a row or whatnot, if we have a rehearsal, we're working on some new material. So in fact, we've probably, since the last time we were here, we've added, I would say, probably at least 10 or 12 songs.
Nice.
Easily.
Nice.
So yeah, it's
what was our number last week? 90, right?
Somewhere around 90 songs.
90?
Yeah.
You guys have been together as a group how long now?
Just over 2 years now, yeah.
90 songs. I won't tell you what's in ours. I just printed out our full list of things that we're doing and stuff, and it was 162 songs.
Nice.
Wow.
And we've been together 2 years.
Nice.
So I think you guys are better musicians than I am, in my opinion. You got some catching up to do. You got to figure out what. If I can do it.
Well, if you break down some of the medleys and stuff we do, we're closer to 100.
See, now that's what you're talking about. And you guys are following the standard format, 4 sets, roughly 14 to 15 songs a set. Or are you doing?
We just started switching it up to just doing 3 sets.
The longer sets.
Yeah.
And see, that's the band I jam with. That's what we do. So we're doing 16 to 17 songs a set and taking a little bit extra 5 minutes between sets, which allows, like your drummer, to relax, the vocalist to relax, the guitar and bass player, just drink another beer. So what's coming down the line for these folks? What can they expect from String Jettison that's going to really impact what you guys do? Uh-oh. Yeah. did I hit a point where nobody was prepared?
Yeah, that's good. It's hard to say. We're working on some new tunes. I mean, we're kind of bouncing around from the 80s back into the 90s and some of the newer stuff, and
trying to get some more of our originals in the set list. And we're still, regardless of what's going on out in the real world, we still get together once a week and rehearse and talk things out, and we'll just keep it tight and keep moving forward.
Now, with this extra time, are you guys preparing an actual stage show, a performance thing, like not so much fully choreographed, but maybe a little bit more to give to the audience when they're coming? Like you said, like Zeb was saying, he just kind of stands there. Well, no offense, it's kind of boring.
I try and move.
I mean,
like I said, I'm tired.
He just doesn't want to make me feel bad.
He doesn't want to make
on stage.
But yeah, like Mike runs through the crowd, and Brian moves all over the place. And to me, that's like it's his job to do that because he's the lead singer. So he's supposed to be the one who's like interacting with the crowd. And Mike does it anyway.
That's right. Whether it's my place or not.
Yeah. But it's we've been we played a couple battles of the bands, and I remember getting done and other bands going, did you see that bass player running all around? You need to go wireless. All these other guys in these other bands talking about him running all around and stuff like that. And so to me, my job is, I used to say this as a joke, but my job is to try and make him sound as good as possible because
big job.
I have
Big.
I'm the only one with the melody because we have bass and we have drums and we have a lead singer. So I have to cover, and that's why I worked in some foot pedals so I can put keyboards in underneath to make us sound like we're more than 4 people up there. You know.
What he's saying is that we do the heavy lifting while the clowns go out and
Right.
Is that what's happening? Okay. You have the timekeeper back there doing his job, and the guitarist doing the rest of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I try and move some like.
We have fun though, right?
That's right.
In certain songs
We're
where
the
I
ones
don't,
they talk about.
Exactly.
in certain songs where I don't have to use my pedals, like Bark at the Moon and stuff, I have one setting that I use for the whole thing. I only need to be standing still when I hit my solo.
Right.
And so yeah, I try and move around in certain songs like that, or Def Leppard, stuff like that.
Okay. Now, there's a lot of groups that are starting to go to pre-recorded tracks for background. You guys are going to stay away from that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
100% live music when you see us.
So no extras here or there.
Every mistake is our own.
Yeah.
And mistakes do happen. I don't care how good you are. I've
Right.
seen it in bands that have been around for 50 years.
I think it's better though because.
Okay. I hear a story coming here.
I guess I think it's better because if you're playing along with a click track or with canned music and you make a mistake, not only do you have to figure out where you are, but you have to catch up to the
wherever
thing
that
just
is.
keeps going.
Yeah.
Right.
And we were playing a gig, and it's funny. It's really funny to me because we're doing an original song that I wrote, and Brian forgets the words. So he comes up to me and he's like, "What are the words?" I'm like, "I don't know."
Wait, literally, you wrote it and you don't know.
And I said, I don't sing it. He's like, "Yeah, but you wrote it."
You did sing it on the CD.
But my point is though, we'll mess up, or he'll either come in early or late, or he'll mess up, or I'll mess up, and we're all there with whoever's making that mistake. Or Aaron will keep the song going when he's supposed to stop.
or stop it when it's supposed to keep going.
Yeah,
I rarely end on time.
I have found in my years of playing that is a common problem with drummers, no matter how good they are. They get into that groove, they get into that beat, and then they tune everybody else out and forget their cue.
I start having fun.
You start having. I've jammed with many of drummers that we're getting ready to hit that last note, and then you hear the roll to keep going, and it's like, what do you do now? You repeat a verse, you repeat a chorus.
You just keep on going.
And then that's where I think the guitar player steps in and throws another little lead in there.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with an arena rock ending.
Right.
Yes.
No, there's not.
Stretch it out.
No, there's not.
I think it's more exciting too. You may overall, through all the gigs, sound better with backing tracks, but I think when a band is doing everything live, some nights you're not on.
Right.
Some nights you're really on, and it's awesome. And,
Right.
And you can't get that when you have a sequence thing.
Well, I won't deny the fact we've got a couple of tunes that we use the sequencing. We do "In the Air Tonight," Phil Collins.
Oh.
Well, we don't have bongos, so we
Right.
found the bongo track, and everybody has learned, through my vocal and stuff like that, to follow that. Ed's playing the keyboards; he's doing the keyboard. I'm doing the vocal. Marty's doing all those funky, weird swells and everything in the beginning. But then when we get into the meat of the song, that's gone.
Right.
Marty kills it with his pedal, the setup he's using. So we do cheat with little things like that where, if we had a bigger stage or whatever, or a full set of bongos and had Aaron with us, we could probably pull that off live. Yeah.
No, I think it takes a lot of for me, it takes a lot of enjoyment trying to play with tracks, because if you just as the drummer, you're not playing with anybody else. All you're playing with is this click that's going in your ear to make sure you're staying in time.
We don't use a click track. It's just the bongos. We
Right.
get go and you hear the bongos playing, and that's what we're playing. So I guess you could call it a click track, but I'll admit we have been cheating a little bit to bring some of these songs where we didn't have enough members when we first started. Now that we've added Bruce as our lead vocalist and he plays guitar, hopefully we can change things up a little bit more. So with your music, are you going to start going into some more, I know you guys are focused a lot on the classic rock and the rock. Are you going to maybe look into like the alternative or bluegrass or country or, different areas, different genres that maybe you can make your own?
I don't know that we've really discussed anything like that.
Okay.
I think making our own is really kind of creating our own music.
So originals.
Doing more original stuff.
That'd be cool.
But I don't have a problem with doing like 90s alternative. Matter of fact, we have some of that kind of
We're
stuff
getting more and more of that.
in our set. I mean, we all love classic rock, but
Yes.
yeah, I don't know that any one of us are huge country or bluegrass fans enough to want to learn that music and put it in the set.
Actually, we were going to do Soggy Bottom Boys.
Yeah.
No, that's
yeah.
cool. Man of Constant Sorrow?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. I think you would get a lot of response
It's a hard
from.
one to pull off.
Yeah, it's surprisingly difficult with the harmonies.
Yeah, but you guys can do it. You're all professionals.
I think we can do it.
We can-
Did I laugh out my...
Well, but isn't that half the battle? Thinking you can and then just applying that.
Yeah, not with singing so much. It's
Not
it
with
turns
singing.
out you have to actually be able to do it too. It can't just be a confidence thing.
Now you know why
See,
I'm
I've
glad
seen
we got a
some-
lead vocalist.
I've seen some pretty bad, really confident vocalists in my time, and
Oh yeah.
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 I've run across a few of those here and there. You not being one of them, Brian. Since the day we've talked about this, that I've met you, and we didn't talk. I think the very first time because I was running sound for you guys.
not much. Yeah.
Where you were playing currently at that point, and but over the years we've become really good friends, and now it'd be one of those deals. If I came to help you guys with sound in a show, I wouldn't even have to listen to Brian. I'd already have him dialed in on the board. I know where his settings.
Yeah.
Now with the rest of you guys, I would have to listen for a little bit and
Right.
dial it in. But Brian's got a very specific range that I can dial in on,
Yes.
and I love that about him. His low to his high, I know everything in between. Now, speaking of that, have you been trying to expand your range with some of the new music, trying things that maybe extend what you're comfortable with and going to another?
Because I picked the hard ones.
I would say yes.
You would
I
say
would
yes.
say definitely so.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is with these guys, not so much Zab because he just keeps to himself. And anytime I ask him a question, I don't know. I just listen to my guitar. But with Mike and then Aaron, to a certain extent, when we're working on a song, if I'm off on it, they will let me know.
Good.
Oh yeah.
And usually it's in a constructive way. Usually. And then they'll work with me on it so I can kind of get it, because there are some styles
Right.
that I'm not used to doing, and the one song we've been working on is an example of that.
So is it then more, not so much the vocal range, but maybe the timing or the way the song's presented that you're having that?
Well,
That
if notes
little
are
bit
too
of a
high at
glitch.
The gig, he just goes out and makes his wife sing the high note.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I have a way to get around those if I'm not feeling confident enough to hit certain notes, but I would say it's probably the range.
More the range at this
Yes,
point.
because the tuning on If You Could Only See is kind of different from what I'm used to singing.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
it's I'm working on it, but
No, you guys going a half step down? You're doing drop D? Are you doing open G
we-
tuning?
We play in
which is
standard for the most part,
Right.
Unless there's something that Brian's having a hard time with. We started working on Def Leppard's Rock of Ages.
okay, which
And-
goes out there. I
And
mean, it's got
it
some
gets
parts
up
that's
there.
yeah.
It gets up there, and it was just at the very top of his range. So with a quick message to Zab, I said, "Hey, why don't we try this a step down?"
Mhm.
And next time we came in, we were able to transpose it a step down on the fly and try to help Brian out from hitting those sky high.
But it
notes.
still sounds like you're hitting those notes because now that the music is a full step,
yeah,
Yeah.
that allows your vocal to
Yeah,
stay
and it's a
strong
lot-
at that higher register.
Right.
it's a lot more comfortable for me. And the thing is I could probably hit the notes when it's in standard. I know I could, but it's a matter of
What's going to be left afterwards?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still will have, depending on where it shows up in the set list, we may have another full set to do. We may
Right.
have 3 or 4 songs left.
White Snake.
Yeah, we have White Snake to do.
Yeah. And then with writing your set list, do you keep all of those things in mind?
Yes, I do.
You do, okay.
Yes, I do.
So the rest of you guys really don't have input to say what's coming next, or
Only at the gigs. I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, he changes
Yeah,
it constantly at the
if
gig.
we
the on-the-fly
wanted
change.
If we wanted input, Brian would listen
Yeah.
to us.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we just tag him and go, "Hey, build a set list."
Right.
He
You
sends
know,
it out ahead of time and asks our opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to get the set list out at least 3-4 days ahead of a show.
And our set list is just a rough guideline. A lot of times during gigs, he'll call an audible. Hey, let's do this one instead of that one. Let's,
Yeah.
Which is what I
getting
like
into-
seeing.
Getting
You
into
know,
dancing and stuff. Yeah.
You keep them out there, keep them moving, and then eventually you do have to throw that lull in because people want to go get something to drink. And you
Right.
guys need a break. If you're doing
Right.
5 really upbeat, up-tempo songs,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of people don't realize that's actually physically a lot of work, you know,
Yeah.
for like the drummer.
I always forget to look for that, and then
You forget to look.
Shit.
You're thinking one thing and starting to play, and they're calling another one.
No, it's like
Oh,
he'll send the list, and the list will have like 3 really quick tunes in a row. And I'm
Oh.
just like, crap! I didn't look at that ahead of time.
Yeah.
I have to like muscle through it.
Yeah, that's when you pick a song that's acoustic and the drummer can walk off and be beer bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I try and craft the set list to where
Right.
everyone's going to get a break at some point,
Right.
whether it's vocally or with the tempo of the song, and still keep it flowing so that everyone has a good time that's there. But
Right. I think that's something that a lot of the listeners don't take into account, the behind the scenes of preparing for what you're getting ready to do on stage.
There'll be times I'll get to a rehearsal or a show and I'll give them a set list and I'll say, I spent 2.5 hours on this last night.
Well,
So
revising
I
or
really-
yeah.
yeah.
And then
you
we
know.
point out the typos.
Yeah.
Oh, you point those out?
Yeah, which are usually not mine because
We got to bring them down a little bit.
You-
Yeah, obviously, you didn't spend enough time.
3 hours would have taken away the typos.
But it's cool that, you know, everybody has their say so. Now, like with our group, all of us write the playlist. We sit over in the band room and we start with the first few songs and then we build from there.
Yeah.
And it's the same principle, giving everybody that either vocal break or the drummer giving him his break, Marty, our guitar player, giving him a break. I don't need a break. My job for what I do in our band is easier than it's ever been because I'm jamming with phenomenal musicians, in my opinion, and so I get to be the guy in the background finally instead of in the foreground. And other than being on wireless like Mike, I'm in the crowd. You know, I can't tell you how many pool tables I've stood on, or tables or bars I've walked across over the years. But so with everything that's going on, what would you tell your listeners now? What is the most encouraging thing you can tell them?
well, I guess we're working on new songs and
Hold out a little longer.
Yeah.
We'll be back playing.
we'll be
Yeah.
back as soon as possible.
We're not going anywhere. Like I said, we keep rehearsing every week. Just keep getting it tighter, and you know, bringing that energy to the live shows when we can get back out there and do it.
Now, do you think you're going to be doubling up some of these live shows with maybe saying bands that have been scheduled, but now they have something else going on, and you know, you guys maybe stepping in where somebody else was maybe scheduled? You see that kind of?
I haven't heard that yet, but
Yeah, if there's an opening and we're all available, you know, Aaron's in another band also, so we have to balance schedules and whatnot.
Right,
so,
right.
I mean, if the venue's open and they need a band, and
We're available.
There you
we're
go.
good to go.
Now, speaking of doing dual duty, how many times have you come from one practice or within a few days to the other and forgot what you were doing at one or started doing something from the previous practice? Has that actually happened to you?
no, I'm pretty. I
Get into a
pretty
beat
well
and-
compartmentalize the two
You
groups,
can?
and they're very different.
You're a
too.
better
Like-
man than me.
Like the two groups play very different stuff, so it's
Okay.
not like, you know, it's not like I'd be like, oh, we do that too, and I thought that was the other one. Like they're very different styles.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's not so much that it's like it's more often it's like trying to flip the switch, because a lot of times we'll do a rehearsal and then I'll have to run to a gig with the other group or vice, you know, like
Okay.
whatever. So like sometimes it's that more so it's just like, all right, I got to get out of, you know, classic rock mode and into blues mode or flip, you know, the other way.
Do you find that it takes a song or two to kind of get that feel back of what you're actually doing? I mean, to kind of reset and get that groove?
Not, I think probably at the beginning, like when I first started
Mm-hmm.
playing a lot, it did. But I've been doing it long enough now that I'm just kind of like, all right, next gig, you just get yourself ready in the car on the way to it.
Okay,
been
we
doing
have
it for a long time, so.
we have a D Pilac, and one of the messages is, "Hey Brian, now you're under pressure. Now your first guitar player's here, Gary." Does that?
Oh, hey Gary, what's up? At first I'm like, what? No, it's Gary is my guitar player from the first 3 bands I was in Detroit.
Okay.
His sister's actually the one that got me started in all this.
Oh wow.
I was an usher at a movie theater, walking through the lobby, sweeping up, and I was singing something from Skid Row, I think. Just messing around, and she said, "Hey, my brother's band's looking for a singer. You want to audition?" Yeah.
Okay.
So she gave me, and I lost the phone number like 3 or 4 times. So finally one day, she said, "Did you ever call my brother?" I said, "I lost the number again." She goes, "That's all right. He's in the office waiting to meet you." So, I was just out of Lutheran high school, so I had the short blonde hair, blah, blah, this and that.
Yeah.
Him and the bass player were in the office, long dark hair, leather jacket. First thing he says to me is, "So, you want to be in a band?" I don't know. So that was a cover band, and then we started a couple original bands together.
Cool.
So we played from late 80s through mid 90s, and then again for about 5 years in the early 2000s. So, hey Gary, what's up, bud?
It was Wait from White Lion was a response here from Gary. Oh, that means something.
Oh, the song you were singing? Was that...
No. That we did a battle of the bands with this first cover band, and when you're 18, trying to be dramatic on stage, I did this whole little speech before we did Wait, and I did something where I dropped to my knees and I said, "And you look at the girl and you say," and then we started singing Wait. So that's been
See, now we're learning a little bit more.
30 plus years, and I still don't hear the end of that story.
You still don't hear
Don't do that in this band.
Well, I'm sure as this band continues to grow and do more, we're going to get more stories. We were talking pre-show a little bit when I was trying to fix some of these issues. I'm hearing things that have been happening at shows, and with your fans, the interaction with fans
Can be interesting.
can be.
Well, that one night between the dude that we had to turn the microphone off from,
Yeah.
Oh,
Some
you
of
had one of
these-
them.
Some
Oh,
of
yeah.
these smaller places that don't actually have a stage, and
Right.
kind of set up in the corner on the floor,
Yeah.
and then everybody thinks that it's just karaoke night. Especially if
Mike's
they get
empty,
a couple
my
of,
turn.
get a couple of drinks in them, and then they want to
Yep.
come up and sing with everybody.
Now they want to be the rock star.
Yeah, of course. So there, and that night, I was starting to come down with something long before coronavirus was a thing, but it was a flu or something that I was coming down with. And I told the guy 2 or 3 times, "You don't want to sing into that mic. You're going to be hurting for the next week or so, But he kept coming up and trying to sing, and he could not carry a tune in a bucket. It was bad. Matter of
I
fact,
pull
it was
my
so
in-ears
bad.
out.
Even worse than me going up and singing with you.
Oh yeah, it had to have been.
Well, I don't think you've ever heard me sing.
I don't
have you?
think so, but
You're
I'll
lucky.
still stand up. Right for you. Matter of fact, Brian had to go back and pull the fader down on my mic. 'Cause
Wow.
he was throwing Brian off so bad.
Yeah, and the problem is it was probably only the second or third time we had used the in-ears also.
Oh,
So
yeah.
all I heard through my in-ears was this guy singing along with me. He was like,
Screaming.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pulled the in-ears out. I was
Yeah.
like,
Well, I did too,
Deafness
and
is
then
better than
I could
this.
still hear him because he was standing right next to me.
Right.
Yeah.
And I went over during a break in the vocals and took that channel and just boop.
There you go. Sometimes,
He sang his heart out the rest of the song, but
hey.
nobody else could hear it.
And how do you guys handle a situation like that? I know what I've done in the past, and what would be your approach to say, okay, we're grateful that you're having a good time and stuff, but you need to let us
your
do
wife took care of that.
do what we're here
I
to
can
do.
be pretty calm, cool, and collected for the most part, up until a point.
Right.
And
Right.
then, I'm not necessarily a physical fight kind of guy, but I have no problem dragging somebody by the collar away from my gear. You know, I got too much invested in my
Oh,
gear.
yeah, absolutely.
So I have no problem doing that. Fortunately, that night, my wife had stepped in. She's at every one of our shows, and she's like, you know, she told a little white lie. She goes, I just paid $500 for that microphone. If you want to cut me a check right now, sing your heart out. Unless you know, if you don't, stay away from that gear. You know?
Right.
And that was pretty much the message that he needed to hear, and that was the
Point
end.
blank and blunt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the end of him.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
was just the end of the first chapter.
Yeah.
The first chapter.
That night.
I'm pretty, I guess, protective in regards to our show. I don't like people, you know, come up, have a good time, high five,
Right.
sing along in front, dance, take pictures, whatever. Don't mess with the show. You know,
Right.
Stay away from the equipment. Don't be grabbing at Mike or Zab when they're playing. You know, if I'm singing, even if I'm out in the crowd, don't grab my microphone.
Right.
You know, I appreciate the enthusiasm, but everything we do, nothing we do is choreographed. Everything is it's a very organic show, I would say.
Oh,
Yeah.
So every move we make, we don't sit at a rehearsal and say, okay, at this point in the song, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
But it's still part of the show. It's who we are.
Right. You
And
go
I-
with what you're feeling at that
And
point.
I'm very protective of people screwing with that, I guess.
Right. No, I can't blame you there. Not at all. With you, Zeb, how many times have you had somebody come up trying to be the fan and stepped on a pedal or?
Nobody's ever stepped on a pedal, not in this band, but
I've had people step on
there's
my
this
pedal.
guy at this one place who comes up and is my best friend, and stands right beside me. He's done that a few times. But yeah, so far we haven't had. The only time I'm worried about people stepping on a pedal is when we play places that there's no stage.
Right, where you're on the
You're
floor.
dancing, and some of the places are smaller, and if it's a good night, there's a lot of people. So
I did have some woman up at one point. We were doing, I think it was Dirty Deeds, and I have a vocal pedal,
Okay.
and it's
Oh, yeah.
it's programmed to certain effects, and most of them I don't use. And she happened to step on the pedal, and she kept her foot on it, so it kept shuffling through
Oh,
all these
no.
different presets. So we got to hear me singing Dirty Deeds in many different ways
Oh yeah.
in the span
Three
of about
octaves up
10
and
seconds.
then-
Yeah.
That's yeah. That's rough.
That was the same night as the
Yeah,
other
that was
guy
that night.
and
Everything
the
else
lady.
happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they
that
got
was-
dragged
I
out.
think they were all related too, which
You
probably.
would-
Yeah.
It was all one big group of
One family.
over enthusiastic
Yes.
fans.
So don't get me wrong. We love the enthusiasm.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah.
But-
for sure. Once we got that gentleman away from my microphone, then there was an older lady that wanted to chat with me as I'm trying to play and sing vocals at the same time. And I kept telling her, like, I can't talk right now. And she wanted
that's
to
me
hold a
talking
conversation.
to him when he
Yeah.
comes over.
Yeah, but
Song, get away from it.
I'm messing with you on purpose. Get away.
And I must have told her 2 or 3 times, like, I can't talk right now. She couldn't
Comprehend
that this takes a lot of concentration to be able to play and sing and hear what these guys are
Right.
doing, and the whole 9 yards. She kept at it all night long, and as we finished up the set, finally I'm done with this lady, but that was just the beginning.
That was just the
That
beginning.
was just the beginning. And then she wanted to help us clean up, and so she took a whole bundle of our mic cables and power cables, grabs them in the middle, and she's trying to tear them apart from the middle of the cables. And she's going on about, I need to help clean up. And I'm going, you need to put my stuff down. And,
Right,
like I said
right.
earlier, I was coming down with the flu or something. My patience was that long. I
Right.
already dealt with the
The
terrible
whole-
singer guy. So I have no
Not right
patience.
here.
Yeah.
I'm right here.
That's our nickname for Brian.
Terrible singer guy.
PSG.
But
T-shirts
I
made.
kept telling her, like, this stuff is expensive. You need to put it down. And she kept getting a tighter and tighter grip on all my cables and stuff. Kept trying to. Well, it turns out like I said, pre-show,
Mhm.
it turns out that evidently she had been out drinking all night, and the alcohol was not mixing with her meds, and she was just not having it. Eventually,
They had
the
to drag her out of there.
bouncer came by and ended up having to like
Physically
her,
remove
Yeah.
her.
lift her off the ground and remove
Wow.
her from the
You
bar.
we could
altogether.
hear her
was-
screaming from outside back in the back of the bar
Yeah.
when we were still tearing down.
She
Oh,
was
wow.
an older
It was
lady too.
nuts.
She was easily in her 60s,
Yeah.
like late 60s.
Yeah.
And I did talk to the bartender. She bit him too.
She
no
bit.
kidding.
Well, so the
Wow.
story
Bit
gets
him.
even deeper.
On the way out, she bit him. So
Wow.
yeah, it was a great time. Good time. It was good.
You
But-
know, and here's the thing, and you see it in the movies and stuff like that. There is actually a hazard to playing.
Oh, yeah.
You get you get a couple of people that are arguing out in the crowd that have nothing to do with you guys, but somehow you end up in the middle of that mess.
Yeah.
Now, rule of thumb for all the different groups I've played in, we play through that. Do you
Yep.
guys try to do the same thing until it gets to the point where they're literally in your way? But you try not to miss a beat. Is that your
Yeah.
philosophy as well?
Yeah, yeah.
We
yeah.
were playing somewhere. and
Sycamore Grove.
No, that place.
It did happen in Sycamore Grove too.
Yeah,
They did.
there was
Yeah.
a fight at Sycamore
The problem
Grove
is
when we played there.
Most of
and
the time I'm too oblivious, so I don't
Yeah, I
even
didn't
notice
even
until
know.
after it's over.
I didn't either. We had probably 10 or 12 people come up to us and ask us if we saw the fight during our set, and I didn't see a thing.
Never-
Really?
Yeah.
I was
I just saw
thinking of
somebody
the
get
place
pushed out the door. That's all. I saw.
Dexter's, where he's getting into it with. We're starting the
Oh.
song. We're playing the song. Was it going to California?
I think.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We're
That was a really weird scenario.
But you got into it too because
I
we
didn't-
kept playing. We kept we're in this loop doing going to California.
I wasn't in it. I was monitoring the situation. I didn't say a word.
He was perched on the edge of the stage,
Yeah,
ready
I
to
w-
jump on this
I
guy
was-
that was talking
yeah.
to me.
This guy was
Okay.
getting
He
real
was saying
belligerent.
some really inappropriate things to this woman that I was sitting next to, and she told him that I was her boyfriend, and then like things started getting out of like he started saying all these really terrible things about her to me, and then. So like I was trying to kind of diffuse the situation. But
Right.
Ryan was like standing on the edge of the stage, like ready to like jump on.
Pounce.
Zap and I are just looking at each other like,
we
okay,
kept
one more
playing,
time
yeah.
around.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't even hear you guys playing. So
He was zoned out
I
at
was
that-
locked
yeah.
in on
Yeah.
this guy. I was just waiting
Yeah.
for him to make the wrong move, and yeah.
And like I said, what you guys do on a regular basis, it can get a little hairy
Yeah.
when
Oh, yeah.
situations are happening. It's happened to me only once, but have you ever been playing and lost all power?
No.
Where one of the
No,
the
never.
building lost power
No,
No.
not in
You
this
guys-
band. I
you
had
got-
that happen once with one of the other bands. I
with
was
one
in.
of the other bands. So you
Yeah,
guys have been lucky so
That's
far.
a them problem. I don't care.
That's a them. You can keep playing.
All of a sudden, the talent level just shoots up.
yeah. Drum solo.
So, do you prepare for something like that, though? I mean, do you, like with our group, we have a contingency plan. If that were to happen, what we're going to do?
I don't.
I'll
think,
just take a solo until they figure it out.
Yeah,
That's
we
right.
don't think that
Right.
far ahead. I don't think.
Yeah.
Really?
Aaron's good enough. If we need him to, it'll be a 4-hour drum solo.
And then,
Well,
we're
you
all
can.
still getting paid the same, so it doesn't matter.
We might take a little more if that happens. If I solo for 4 hours, I'm taking a little bit bigger cut.
We'll throw you $5 extra each.
And there's always the go-to, the Iron Butterfly in the Vida.
Yeah, there you go.
You can.
Brian's been
There's
working-
17 minutes and 3 seconds of song there, and you can make the whole thing a solo.
Yeah, exactly.
Brian's been working on his mime stuff too. So.
Yeah.
My favorite is when Brian's like, "Hey, I gotta go to the bathroom. Start Ain't That a Shame," and I'll start playing the solo at the beginning of Ain't That a Shame. And I was like, where is he? So I'm still going, like waiting for him to come back out so we can get into the next part of the tune.
Well, the funny
Like,
thing
dude,
is,
you didn't tell me you're gonna go to the bathroom back at home. Jeez.
9 times out of 10, I'm walking to the bathroom, running, and then I come out, and I'm getting ready to shoot back up there, and someone stops me and starts talking to me. And like, I gotta go. Oh, and then I'll start talking, no, I gotta go, really. And then I've had people literally where I start to run away, and they've grabbed me.
Oh, wow.
Stop me. Like, seriously. I gotta go.
They're waiting
hear
for
them?
me.
That's definitely an how do you get around that one? That's,
I just gotta tear away and and a run, and,
That's
then,
when-
and then apologize during the entire break before we start playing again. Sorry, guys.
And that's when you get yourself a couple of really good big friends, and they walk with you, and they can,
Yeah.
you know, like the security
I'll
there.
have to get Bart to escort me next time.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Him or Don, if we're playing today next.
Oh man! So what else would you guys like to cover? I know we had done a lot the very first show that we had done together, and I'm as always I'm doing this on the fly. You know, I don't have anything
Right.
prepared.
Well, the reason originally that
Yeah.
we wanted to book this is we were going to be playing in Detroit this coming Saturday.
Correct.
I was excited about that because it was
Yep.
the first time in my hometown with these guys. You know,
Which-
have everyone back home, family, friends, whatnot,
Right.
seeing this band. I've been back a couple times, but not with these guys yet.
Right.
So I was really looking forward to hyping that show and, you know, showing these guys off up in Motown. And, you know, that was one of the things I really wanted to cover today, but
Yeah, we kind of got
Things
thrown
happen.
a monkey into the
Yeah.
wrench.
So-
Things have been crazy, and unfortunately, you know, a lot of groups are in your shoes.
oh yeah.
You know, and I'm grateful that you guys are still pushing forward and being creative and talking about the live streaming. I hope you guys do that because. With your permission, once I see a live stream and it's there and I can capture it, I'll replay it on my show.
That'd be great.
You know, and get your regular viewers and as well as the ones that I have, and let everybody see that. You know, and of course, if it's unedited, I'm gonna play it unedited. You know, and hopefully you guys will also maybe do a 15-20 minute actual set live stream if you know that has to happen before this ban is lifted, and I would absolutely love to see that because I've yet to be able to get out with you guys playing live because either A, I'm doing a show or I'm got something else or working or something of that nature, and I really want to get out there and see you guys live, and then one of these days hopefully get you guys over here with us and do a free-for-all jam. Even though I know Aaron looks like a midget behind Ed's kit, but
Especially because mine's all really low.
yeah, and Ed's 6'5", I think it is, and so he's got everything where looks like you're playing on the frickin' ceiling. But because we've talked about doing some live stream stuff, having our guitar player and lead vocalist sit in here and do some acoustic work and things like that. And I've offered, even if you guys want to do that, there's a day that you guys want to do some kind of an acoustic type thing.
We're a little gun shy with the acoustic stuff right now.
Why?
Acoustics for Autism. We were there. We played at this small box.
Right.
and,
Yeah, because
it
I
was-
mentioned that on the podcast.
Yeah, it was a little bit outside. Aaron was actually out of the country at that point.
Oh, geez.
So it was just the three of us, and I was on guitar, which is completely kind of a foreign thing for me. That was actually the first performance I had ever done on guitar in public.
Okay.
So I was out of my comfort zone, and then of course we're used to playing bars,
Right.
Big open spaces with drunk people that sometimes get up and dance. This was a very small venue with a lot of people and eyes beaming right on from this far away.
Right.
So there were definitely a few hiccups throughout our short little 20-minute set.
Right.
But it all in all, it wasn't terrible, and it was for a good cause. But yeah, right now I think we're a little gun shy on
We were definitely out of our
doing an
element.
acoustic set.
And for me, and I can probably say this for you too, for the most part, and I won't speak for these two, but personally, I thrive on the chaos and the noise of a loud show.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
In a bar, like you said, drunk people dancing, screaming. You get people from the back of the bar screaming at you, and
Right.
90% of the time you don't know what the hell they're saying, but just the whole element of that noise is what gets me going. And we were discussing pre-show.
Right.
The acoustic thing, I'm used to belting it out all the time.
Right.
So having to temper my vocals so that they could still be heard was something that I had issues with also.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And, well, I can kind of see that. I personally have never done a full acoustic set, and we've talked about it with our group. So, and I'm not playing guitar though, Mike.
No?
No, I'm not. I've got an acoustic bass I can use. I'm still playing bass. You're a better man than I am. And, you know, I mess around with the electrics down here. I got a couple songs I actually wrote on an electric guitar years ago, but I'm not a guitar player.
No.
Yeah, we had a good time
Yeah.
overall, and again, we were happy to be a part of that event. Cause
Right, exactly.
It's huge.
Right.
You know, it's a huge event, and the fact that we were able to get in on the first time submitting an application, I had the manager at Small Box said to me, you know, there's bands that have been trying to get in this event for 7-8 years.
Oh, wow.
And they can't get in. So
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
yeah, the fact that we were able to just, and the funny thing was is I sent the app in late. You know, there was a deadline. I sent it in 2 days later, thinking, well, you know, we're not going to hear anything. And probably 3 days after that is when I got the confirmation.
The confirmation.
So
Now, is this something you guys are going to,
Yeah,
even though
yeah.
you're a little gun shy about it, is this something you may look into as a group again for maybe next year or the next
We'd
one?
like to get on one of the bigger stages.
Let's say
So
next
we
year,
can do
hopefully I'm in
electric
town
stuff.
and we can do
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
there's I think we would do much better doing what we normally do
Yeah.
with the crowd that they have in one of the tents there.
Mm-hmm.
With the music we do, with the selection we have, we could throw together a killer set, and
Yeah.
you know, we'd have a great time, they would have a great time, and we could kind of
Be a
do our
little,
thing.
little bit more comfortable.
Be a
up
lot
around.
more comfortable.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're well
Yeah.
rehearsed on that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and again, that's part of it too, being comfortable in your surroundings, and you know, and honestly, when the area that we're now in, the new studio here. And speaking of which, I got to ask, you can be honest. What do you think of the new studio, guys? I mean,
it's
It's
great.
cool.
Yeah.
if you have criticism, let me know, because then we'll make it better. But other than my connection to, you know, for some reason, but I really did enjoy that little studio that we had the first time you guys were here, but it was too cramped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty small.
And so hopefully this is, and we got a little better lighting in here. My audio's better. Again, we're back to one mic, and yet I can hear all four of you equally
Nice.
through
That's-
the EQ settings that I'm using now and stuff like that.
We did get some comments from the last time that I think because I was sitting over where
Yep.
Mike was, and people said they could barely hear me. Which
Yep.
Isn't
And
necessarily a
trust
bad
me,
thing, but-
I was
Nice
I was
comments from
ramming
all
my
around.
head against the wall, thinking it could have been better. It could have been better. And again, I do gratefully thank you guys for participating and doing stuff like this. And as the show continues and I get more and more response, if you notice, I keep updating. You know, I'm getting new things in. Our acoustic work is getting better. I'm going to be putting up acoustic tiles in here.
Nice.
I'm going to be adding a couple of condenser pencil mics in here for the different things. And so, and we could actually even put a little, I was thinking about purchasing a electronic drum kit set off to the side here with another camera, and I can do the picture-in-picture, and we can actually do a little better.
Yeah,
You know, it wouldn't be anything great. It'd be one of the, you know, like an Elisis or one of the
Hey, they all
simple roll-in, you know, kits that would sit off to the side here. And I'd like to kind of step up to that
That'd
to
be
get
cool.
and get you guys playing live.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
No, that'd be
Yeah.
fun.
You know, not quite acoustic, because we could plug the guitars direct. If you notice, there's a direct line box already on the floor.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that.
I'm stepping up to those things now that we've gotten in this bigger room, and hopefully you guys will take advantage of that eventually.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
and as soon as I can get the kit.
I do think we should probably tell the story of our new favorite song.
Yes, please do.
Oh God,
Oh.
that's actually
Tag,
what
you're it.
he was asking about new stuff.
Okay.
you know, our versions of stuff. I was thinking about this.
Okay, before you get there, Miss Ann McCracken said your set at Small Box was fun. Enjoyed eyeballing you guys.
Hey, Ann.
Thanks, Ann.
I'm trying to follow this, and I'm getting a little bit of lag on some of my live chat here, and I think it's because I can't see what's going out right now. But apparently something's happening, because we are getting a little bit of feedback through the live chat.
Awesome. Cool.
So whatever's going on is going on. Again, I don't know. I'm going to have to get Google out later and say why.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
You know, but go ahead. Let's hear this new favorite song story.
Oddly enough, the same night everything else happened.
Yes.
Same
yes.
night
Same
with
night.
all the other
This is a
drama.
wild
Yes.
night. Yeah.
This was a
Full
crazy,
moon.
crazy night. Well, the funny thing was too, the bar when we started our set, there was like 7 people there,
That makes it rough.
and then by the end of it, there was a decent sized crowd, and
Okay.
everyone was getting into it, and
Yeah.
some people a little too much.
Right.
Right.
Apparently.
Yeah.
But there was a lady sitting with some friends of ours, and she kept screaming for a song. Saturday Night by the Bay City Rollers.
That's a great tune,
So
though.
play Bay City Rollers. Can you play Saturday Night? And she would
No,
be,
it's not.
It's a great tune.
she would be singing the chorus. You know, every time we'd stop a song, she'd scream it and start singing it.
Really?
We don't know it. You know, we don't know it.
Yeah.
So this went on, and then as we were tearing down, and Mike's getting beat up by an older lady, everything else. My wife walks over to me and she hands me $100 bill. Right. She never.
Wow.
She never gives me money.
She takes money.
So,
She may be watching.
I hope.
So she says, that lady, she gave me this. She says she wants you to learn Bay City Rollers for the next time you're here.
Oh, wow.
So I walk over to these guys. I said, well, we just got a tip. Thing is we have to learn Saturday night.
Yeah.
And we kind of chuckled about it. So I went up to the bar to get our payout from the bartender, and she comes up and she sits down next to me. She says, I really want you to learn this song. Okay. She threw another $100 bill in.
No way.
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, I can't take this. You already gave us $100. I said, we really appreciate it. We'll learn the song. No, take it. I'm serious. I want you to learn this song. So I walked back to these guys. I said, well, it's $200 now. We really
You're
have to
really
learn
into
this
it. You're
Learn
deep
this.
We
now.
are learning it.
So the next rehearsal, we ran through it. I like the way we do it. It's
Well,
We
yeah,
all,
when-
we all
when
came in and we were like, that song sucks.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's just terrible.
so we do it a little differently. We do it our way. So we learned it, and then the next time we played there, she wasn't there.
Oh, you got to be.
But every time we start playing that song, everyone goes crazy now.
Yeah.
We've done it.
Everybody likes
We've
it.
done
Everybody
it
loves
5 or
it.
So it's gone from a song that you really wanted to walk away from
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
to now it's becoming a staple.
We wanted to do it
Oh,
one
yeah.
time and never again,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
now we have to play it every show.
Every show.
That's
it's
cool,
there.
though.
Yeah.
But the thing was, is I told these guys too. I said, you realize this is going to be the song that people are going to know us by now.
Yeah.
No, it could be.
Our
But-
version's cool though. I like our
And,
version.
and now
Yeah.
that your viewers understand why, I think it'll become more special though.
Well,
Because you took the time, even though you got quote unquote paid, the time, but you took the initiative not to just walk away from it,
Yeah.
but to say, you know what, we got to commit to this. We
Yeah.
have to at least try it, and we
Yeah.
have to at least.
Well,
you
the thing
know.
is every time now before we play it, I get on the mic and I say, this next song we're going to do, we call this our money song.
Right.
And I figured out a way we could maybe make a little extra cash. I said, tell the story about the lady giving us the $200.
Right.
And I tell everyone in the crowd, if you want us to stop playing it, someone's got to throw $200 on the stage.
That's an idea.
That's marketing 101.
Unfortunately,
We
I
should
don't
start
think you're going to
doing it.
get the money to stop playing.
No,
Well, that's
so
why we
far
started
we've made
doing-
$2.
That's
Yeah.
why we started doing the 30-minute version of that song. People got sick of it real quick.
Miss Holly Marie, she's one of our viewers from a lot of our shows, says that it's really cool that you guys did that. That,
Oh, yeah.
that you
Holly,
took the
yeah,
time.
thanks.
And then Gary, I think, because he said he's on his wife's phone, that's why it says D.
Yeah.
He threw out Freebird.
Yeah.
You knew it was
A couple
coming.
rehearsals ago.
You knew it was coming. Everybody yells that out, I think, at every show, or
Right.
at least
Right.
once.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if we've heard it,
We-
actually.
Really?
Yeah. I have suggested learning it so that when we do hear it, we can start playing it.
And then
they can
cut
pay
into
us-
something else?
And then they can pay us to stop.
Yeah.
But they won't.
Yeah.
Then we'll have to find a place to cut into something
I,
else.
I think we should only learn the slow part at the beginning because that's the part nobody
Yeah.
really wants to hear anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone just wants to hear the ending.
Right,
so.
yeah.
Yeah. But
There
that,
you go.
that's
We learned
pretty
the
cool.
first part.
So now that we've got through that story, are there other songs within your playlist or your to-do list that have come from suggestions from the places you've played through your audience? I mean, are you?
We did the '80s show, So we learned a bunch of 80s stuff, and that's still in our set list for that.
Yeah, we did. For New Year's, we played at the Elks in Napoleon.
Okay.
And their theme for it was 80s rock, so we picked up a bunch of different 80s tunes like
Jack and
Diane, Turning Japanese, Talking in Your Sleep,
Blister in the Sun.
Blister in the Sun, stuff like that, and a lot of those are mainstays in the set now.
So you still keep those intermixed with?
Yeah, we like to gauge people's responses to certain songs,
right?
And then certain places, obviously, this song will go over great.
Correct.
This place, you get no response whatsoever.
Right.
So we try.
And which is amazing because a lot of the people that go are at all your shows, but it's like it's the regulars that are the few regulars seem to control or run what is going on, and I don't think a lot of people think about that either. Is you have your standard people, that your family and your friends and all your followers and your groupies, whatever you want to call them, are there at all your shows, but they're not the ones running it.
Right.
It's the regulars in the bar that you're at, the venue you're at, seem to be, even if there's only 5 compared to the 30 that or 40 people that you have there. And it's amazing to sit back and watch that.
Oh yeah,
it really is.
We take suggestions, like I think Alicia will suggest songs every now and then. My wife will suggest songs every now and then. His daughters will suggest songs. I'm sure Aaron gets suggestions from people every now and then. We have on our Facebook page in the past posted, what songs would you like to hear us do?
No, that's cool. I'm trying to give back to that venue. And I know I brought this up, and I think it was with you guys in the past, where I've actually gone to the bar a week in advance, or the club, and listened to what they were playing and what the day crowd or the evening crowd was, and then gone back to the band and said, hey, here's 30 songs that I heard on the jukebox.
Right.
Let's pick at
we've
least
gone to
3 or 4 of these and learn them for that venue. And then when you're playing, somebody's sitting in their seat, they're not really, you get those people at the bar, they're not really interested in what you're doing, they could care less. And then you play that one song that they've played, and they turn around and look.
Yeah.
And you've touched base with that person. And do you do anything similar to that?
We
or
check out the places if we haven't played them, but a lot of the places play country when we're in there, when we're setting up, and we're just not a country band, So.
There's usually at least 1 or 2 songs in our sets that we have where people who are sitting there not paying attention will get into it.
Okay.
And it varies. I mean, sometimes it's a song like Rio from Duran Duran.
Great tune.
Sometimes it's AC/DC or
Bark at the Moon seems to suck people in.
Bark at the Moon. A lot of people really like the White Snake medley that we do.
Okay. So you've done a full medley with that?
It's a medley. It's got Here I Go Again, Still of the Night, and Slow and Easy in it.
They're big ones.
Yes.
The ones that were most radio played, so people are going to recognize.
And the fun part about that song is before we switch over to each different section, got to hit that high note.
Yeah.
Was that by design?
I think it was just a happy accident.
Generally, it's
happy accident.
right before the guitar solo.
Right.
Instead of having 3 guitar solos in there, and it seemed to work to cut them right there.
Yeah.
And then I do a little solo at the end because we come back to Still of the Night to finish.
Okay, to finish it off.
Yeah, and so there's just a quick little solo in there. So it just happened to work out.
Yeah, it works out great.
Yeah, Brian, I can see a little bit of friendly disdain in Brian's face there.
Well, let's just say some nights are better than others, and if there's a night where I'm thinking it's not going to happen, that's when I go to the audience and hold out the microphone.
That's right. You guys hit that note.
There you go.
But in my defense, even David Coverdale does not hit that note live.
No.
He never has.
No.
So.
And actually in the studio, they recorded it slow and then sped it up.
Key then, yeah.
And the Beatles actually were notorious for recording at 1 speed.
Oh, yeah.
And then for playback in their records,
Yeah.
And that's where you get some of them higher notes. And a lot of people don't realize they cheated even back then.
Oh, yeah.
Just sing at half the speed and we'll speed it up. We'll play twice as fast and you sing half the speed and it'll work perfect.
So what other songs that may you consider like doing montages? Like the group I play in, we'll play one song and be singing vocals for 2 other songs, and then we'll go to the other vocals but play the other music. I mean, have you guys started working on anything like that kind of a mix?
Not really. I mean, we do a mashup with Crazy Little Thing Called Love from Queen.
Queen? Yep.
And then we will go into Rock This Town from the Stray Cats.
Now that's a killer. I love that bass line.
So,
Oh yeah.
I love
That's a
it.
lot of
I would. That's one where I would love to get an upright and play that on an upright. That would be more Brian Setzer in his orchestra version,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Slim Jim, he played the upright
yeah.
for the Stray Cats also.
Well, I know he did, like in the videos and on the recording, but when we saw him live, he actually played an electric.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. But I think it was just with everything they were doing.
It's the image, yeah.
Yeah, so, but I would absolutely love that. That's a killer bass line. I've always enjoyed that one, and I'm glad you guys are playing it.
Yeah.
That one goes over well.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
That one really goes over well.
Yeah.
So,
What about Rock This Town?
as far as
Stray Cats.
yeah,
That's what, and then what's the other one? Stray Cat Strut.
No,
Crazy
No,
Little
we do
Thing.
crazy
Queen.
little thing called Love.
Love into-
Queen,
into.
Yeah,
Stray
because
Cats.
they're similar.
Right.
beat-wise.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
it
have you
just-
thought about doing any of their other stuff? Is what I'm asking. Because
I-
they've got some
Oh.
killer tunes that
There are some great tunes.
are
but
great
we-
upbeat dance that fit right along with your voice, Brian.
Sexy and 17 would
Yeah.
then we could play 17 by Winger, and
16
There you go.
by, Ringo Starr.
then we could do 18 by
Alice Cooper. See, now you guys are catching on and doing.
18 in Life.
You've got a theme lined up here,
Yeah.
you know. I'll stay out of it. But it's the creative side of me.
Oh,
When
yeah.
you guys are talking about this, you know, I'm thinking all these other things that are going on in what I do. So, so what else do we got going on?
I mean, we've talked about it in the past. It's kind of like the whiteboard that we have at in the rehearsal place. There's probably 15 songs on there that we want to do, and we're always adding to it. Oh, this song would be great. Let's do this one. And then we start filtering through, and
We have that
Working
issue
on it.
too. We'll be playing one, and somebody will hit a wrong note or something, and it's like, oh, that's that song, and next
Yeah.
thing you know, it's on the board.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
do you guys follow? I mean, happen is your
Sometimes
actually
somebody will be start goofing around, and then we'll play the whole song down, and we're like, all right, I guess that's on the list
Yeah.
now.
okay. So all right,
Yeah,
we
Van Halen's Ice Cream Man. Just
Yeah.
we were just messing around when somebody started noodling. The
Zeb?
next person joined in, and then the next person joined in. Before you knew it, it was the end of the song. You know.
oh wow,
So we went, well, okay, well that one's in the set. You know.
we've got a few in ours that we did the same thing. I'd be warming up, doing scales or whatever, and then I would go off that scale.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, Eddie's drumming, and then Marty jumps in, and then somebody's like, "Who knows the vocals?" Look them up real quick. So you guys do find yourselves being creative that way in your goof off time, but you're still actually being creative,
yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
you know, and that's what I love about it. Gary was saying that he goes from Turn the Page into Nothing Else Matters is a mashup that
Oh.
Yeah.
that's an interesting
That's a good one,
combination.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's doing an acoustic thing with a buddy of ours called Mickey.
That's what he was just telling you in a
Yeah,
two-piece.
they're called
Yeah.
Double Trouble.
Okay.
And
Well-
they were actually going to do a half-hour, 40-minute set for us in Detroit.
Okay.
Kind of open up for us.
Well, then maybe
So-
I need to talk with you after the show, and maybe let's get them guys on here. If they're interested, I know it'd be probably a little bit of a drive.
It wouldn't be too bad. It's probably about an hour or so. hour
And maybe
15 minutes.
have them do some acoustic work right here
Yeah.
in the new studio. I
Yeah,
don't
because
know.
I'm not sure. I think they've played a couple parties, but they haven't really.
Well,
gotten
what
out
better
yet.
place to rehearse than right here?
Yeah, that's right.
But the problem is they can't play live here before we do.
Ah, okay. I'll give you that. All right.
advantage.
We'll make.
So I know Gary's listening, and too bad, bud. You have to wait.
Gary mentioned that you have a great Don Dokken voice.
Well, you heard the one song in the past.
Yes, I have.
We used to do the one band we did, Breaking the Chains.
Great tune.
And that's when I was
When it-
still playing bass and singing.
Well, Gary's saying that would be great, and I'm hoping he's referring to the fact maybe getting you guys,
Oh, yeah.
you guys playing live, and then maybe getting them on here playing. So, again, with them being new or newer, that's exactly what this show's about. You know, it's getting
Right.
some of these new acts out there and getting people again from all over the world. We have listeners, like I said. I haven't seen Phil yet, but usually he stops in when he can. But he's in New Zealand,
Right.
so and he pops in every chance he gets. So your music, if you get me a video, like if you guys do a stream or do a video from home for practice, get it to me.
Mm-hmm.
I will put it on. We'll run it. I'll run it as a special on one of my weekday shows, and we'll see what happens. I'd love to do that. Eventually, I'd love to take this show to the next level.
Right.
We're talking about with the live music, but also if you guys have originals already recorded, even if they're not, let's say, radio broadcast quality, which is with the AAC, whatever that is. I'm trying to remember. My brain's not working here. But get them to me. I'll play them. I'll premiere them or whatever you guys want to do, and things like that. Any of your videos, artwork. Again, Brian, you've been real good about when you have the posters made up, getting them to me so I can.
Yeah, I gotta
post those.
definitely say thanks to Michelle, my wife.
And
She's the one that takes care of
all that.
I don't have the patience or the talent to.
tell her to keep up the good work,
Oh,
because
absolutely.
the formats that I usually get them when you guys send them to me, I'm able to really work with and
She is our,
put them.
I guess, multimedia person.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, she does a
anytime
lot, yeah.
she prints out our set list for us.
Right.
I'll ask her to print out flyers when we go to the bars. When we go to check places out, we'll leave flyers. She does all that. She does all the stuff on the Facebook page for us.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the stupid posts that
Well-
you see are me, but as far as when the
But
show's coming out.
she's your support behind the scenes.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
and there's a lot of groups I think have that. My wife as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Tracy takes care of a lot of her behind the scenes stuff.
And Alicia's snapping
Yeah.
photos the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Alicia
My wife's
is
helping
always- always taking
schlep
videos.
gear.
Well, get those to me,
Yeah.
because like when doing the shows and stuff, I can actually add a photo viewer collage to the beginning or the end of any of the videos, and we can, you know, certain things that you guys would like people to see, you know, the interaction.
She's got so many pictures. We haven't even seen them all.
Oh,
I don't
wow.
know- I don't know if you've even seen all of them.
Probably not.
Yet. You know,
She
it's
snaps a lot.
all night long. Yeah, she actually took our first, I guess, promo pictures.
Band photo, yeah.
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 When we first got together, we went out in his backyard, and she was upstairs on their back porch, and we were just
No, that's the one with the greenery in the background.
Yeah.
That I think I've seen before.
Yeah.
And a couple of the.
yeah. We used that one quite a bit at the beginning because it was the only picture we had of us.
Right.
But nothing in those pictures was posed either. We were just screwing around, and she's
Yeah.
taking pictures the whole time.
Which makes it even
Yeah.
better because it's random now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, because I think at one point I asked you, I said, well, is she ready to take pictures yet?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So we just kept futzing around, and she's up there snapping pictures and
The whole time.
The whole time, yeah, and ended up with some great stuff.
And she came down, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
What?
The ones where we
But,
posed are the worst ones. The ones where we're just like goofing around and everybody's laughing. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just turned out best.
But, yeah, you'll find my wife at every one of our shows with camera in hand, and
That's cool.
You know, she normally has 3 or 4 GoPros set up around the place so that I've got multi-angle stuff to do video with, video promos and stuff like that. But yeah,
Again, if you don't mind, send them to me. If you're all right with me putting them, I can almost use it like a commercial.
yeah.
In fact, if you get something to me by Friday, I've got another live feed we're doing for the bands, like we did last Friday. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see any of that.
Didn't get it.
Oh, yeah.
3.5 hour show that I streamed live with the artists, and there were times in between where I was helping do the technical setup.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost dead air,
Oh, sure.
and something like that would be great to throw in. It's almost like a commercial bit.
Well, we've got that
Right.
8.5 minute promo.
Yeah.
See, that's 8.5 minutes I wouldn't have to worry about. I'll throw it on loop. Like the old school, and you know, like I was telling everybody, what I do like about this whole new thing is, to me, since we're restricted on what we can do as entertainers, completely restricted, making the best of it. And what I was telling people is, think of what we're doing with the live streaming like 30 years ago, where was the only place that you got your entertainment? The radio.
Right.
And a lot of your bands back then played live at the radio station. They didn't,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, they didn't just play the records. They actually played live.
Yep.
And we're doing the same thing, but now with video.
Right.
Right.
So, and that's why I would absolutely see some of your work. You know, I mean, unfortunately, like I said, you're always playing somewhere. The days that I do have open, you're places that
Right.
I can't get to, or as you can hear upstairs now, we're in our live feed, the kids playing around up there. But I promise I will get up to see you guys live, and by that time I'm hoping I can do a live stream mobile through like my tablet or my phone. When I get to a certain point with YouTube,
Right.
I can, with your permission, videotape or do a live broadcast right there while you guys are playing.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we've been together long enough now. I think we're really comfortable with each other on stage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, and even from the beginning, we've had a good time on stage, but now we're kind of, I think some of the most fun I have is when he and I are out in the crowd and we're interacting with each other, and it's just funny seeing people,
their faces, yeah.
around
Oh
us.
yeah.
You know, because he'll be like dancing towards me with his bass, and I'll do some stupid dance move, you know, do some of my dad moves, and
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
That's right.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Well, so far, most of the evening, Zeb and Aaron have been kind of quiet, especially Zeb. I think our listeners and our viewers would like to hear a little bit more from that young man.
Yeah, what do you want to say?
You've got something to say.
Not really.
No,
I play chords most of the time, so
Come on, you got to give us a little nugget.
I try and fill in and try and sound as full as possible. My goal is for when people come see us to say, "Wow, I can't believe they sound that good with just 4 guys up there."
Right.
I would like to make as much noise as an 8-piece, you know.
Yeah.
And I pride myself on trying to work these pedals in as many songs as I can to fill in, and also it's hard. I remember when I first got those pedals, trying to put them in, I think it was Final Countdown, and 2 measures in, I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to do this.
Due to timing, playing,
Playing
and then trying to,
because I'm not playing the same. Like I finger pick Whitesnake and play keyboards in the beginning.
Mhm.
And actually, the hardest song that I've worked on is one that I wrote called Fudge, and it's the keyboards are syncopated to the guitar part, so I have to have this independence of feel thing while I'm trying to do that, and it's real hard. And that's the song that he walks up trying to talk to me.
It's like you're already distracted, and then you've got Brian distracting you on top of that.
that was before you had the
That's
foot
before
pedals.
it's still a hard song to play anyway.
So
but-
what he's trying to say,
Even
don't do
harder
it
when
now.
Mike's singing on bass line.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, and so that, I mean, that's, I practice and I try and play a perfect show every time, and I don't. I'm always messing up somewhere. But my pat on the back is I'm not screwing up the same place every time. So it's just me messing up. It's not knowing the material. And I want us to sound as full as
If
possible.
you played absolutely perfect every time, I think it would get boring.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
offense.
Yeah, no,
And I know every one of you is a perfectionist in your own way, in something that you do that you absolutely. But I think if you were, once you got to perfect all the time, what more do you got to work for?
Right.
And
That's-
What's the
and
point?
that's
Or am I wrong? Am I looking at this wrong as
No,
a
that's
musician?
true.
Well,
If
the,
you hit perfection, where do you go from there?
the fun part is that's never going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
Even the professionals who've been playing their
Mess
songs
up.
for their entire lives still make mistakes.
Yeah.
Strive for it, shoot for it. You're never going to get there, and that's
Yeah.
part of the fun.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of artists that are close to being damn near perfect.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
professionals that have been around out there,
Sure.
and artists that I look up to. But I find myself that when I think I have a song perfect, I go back and then listen to the original, and there's always something that I missed.
Oh yeah.
There's a nuance in there, a finger, a note, or a slide, or a
Yeah.
pull off that
note or something. Yeah.
you didn't hear, and now you got to try to incorporate that in there. And at least as a bass player, I try finding, like I've been trying to learn how to play stuff by Flea and things like, and the man's phenomenal.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
got a slap technique that's unheard of anywhere else.
That's crazy.
So, and I don't know if, like with you, if you try to emulate.
It's too hard for me.
It's too
I like to pick up on I like to work on that stuff kind of off to the side.
Right.
Not necessarily something that we do together, but yeah, I like to challenge myself.
Okay.
We consider ourselves, obviously, we're a cover band. We don't consider ourselves, and we've discussed this before, we're not a tribute band.
No.
So we take the songs and we play them so that they're not unrecognizable, but we have our own little twist on them too.
Right.
Well, yeah, because we'll play songs that there's like 5 or 6 people in the band, and there's 2 guitars and keyboards and stuff like that, and so I'll modify what I play to fill in, and he'll modify what he plays. He even modifies what he plays too to fill in
An extra fill or,
Yeah, stuff
or
like
a
that.
different
busier in
back
certain
rhythm.
spots. If he's
Yeah.
going to take a solo, then I have to be busier so that
Mhm.
you don't miss the strumming
Yeah,
that's
on the-
missing.
yeah,
And
they're-
when he's strumming, I can back off a little bit on what I'm doing.
Well, and that's what's cool about making music your own. You can put your own
Right.
interpretation into it, and you can put your own feeling into it. And
Right.
now, have you guys had an issue where you're feeling a song one way and they're playing it in a different? They're playing it right, but not the way you're feeling it. I mean, does that
I
happen?
haven't seen that in this band.
I would say.
But you guys know what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
we
right?
had
Right?
a different band that we had
Oh yeah, yeah.
where, and I think it was, we would kind of get a groove on the song, and the lead singer and the drummer would have a different view.
A different view from it.
And
Okay.
sometimes it would still work, and sometimes it was like work.
Yeah.
You actually had to pull those pieces together or
Yeah.
compromise on
Yeah.
the. So, but that hasn't happened yet
No,
with
I
you guys
think
so much.
with us, we may, when we first learn the song, we learn them independently.
Right.
So we all have kind of a different take on it, but it may be a little rough the first couple times we rehearse it,
Right. Right.
but then we kind of lock in together
And
and
figure out what we need to do.
Yeah.
We're all pretty laid back, so it's a lot of just like, oh, that was cool, let's do that, and like
Yeah.
whatever.
And
we'll
it's
just
like Brian
take
said earlier,
suggestions.
we're not shy about giving our 2 cents worth.
Right.
Right.
Why don't you try doing this way, or you really messed that part up.
Yeah, you missed
or,
the
know,
chorus.
y-
Screw the
yeah.
chorus.
It's not the exact way I put
No,
it,
but
but
there's a lot of communication between us, so
Right.
so we tend to work things out pretty quickly.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So structuring the songs has not been an issue
No.
for the most part. What would you say for you guys as a group has been your hardest or your most challenge with one song?
I was gonna say our hardest challenge is getting gigs.
yeah.
Well, right now everybody's hardest challenge is getting.
Well, and it's getting better as far as that goes.
That's
Yeah.
Just disregarding what's going on
Right.
now, but
Yeah.
we have a booking agent now who's pretty tenacious about
Cool.
getting a hold of places and staying on
And
them.
you've been doing a good job at that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pat myself
But it-
on the
and it
back.
all-
I'll
it
let
has-
you guys take care of that.
I like
Right.
I like playing either the bigger places with more exposure or smaller places with less exposure, but that pay real well.
Yep.
And he's been pushing. We got to do all of them. It doesn't matter.
My
and
whole,
it's true
yeah.
because
From
now-
point A to point B, baby.
right, because
Yeah.
once we started playing these places, then they start having us back, and other people say, "Oh, you need to play this place." I'll tell them that you guys will call and stuff, and
Cool.
yes, it's worked out real well.
Yeah, my whole thing is if a place gets a hold of us, or I contact a place, doesn't matter the size, if they're gonna, kind of cover what our fee we ask,
Right.
we're gonna play it. I don't care if there's no stage. I don't care if
You'll make the accommodations
Yes.
work.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I personally, I like to play. I like to play
Right.
out. I always have. So I'm not
Well, you haven't always because you were started in a movie theater.
true.
Okay. Well, we'll just.
But I was singing in the movie.
But yeah, he was-
Yeah, well,
I
okay.
was singing there.
There you go. But speaking of playing, you don't actually play an instrument, though.
I played the tambourine
and cowbell.
and cowbell.
Oh, we're actually going to count those as.
Sure.
Those are instruments.
Of course you're going to agree with me there.
Well, it's percussion,
instrument.
no matter how you look at it.
I'll
Okay,
fight
it
for
is
the-
percussion.
No,
I'll
There's-
fight for cowbell and tambourine.
There's been talk, and eventually it'll happen that I'm going to pick up and start playing some rhythm guitar on some songs.
That'd be cool.
I'm going to start fairly basic, probably with like the AC/DC and stuff like that. And
3 notes in
Yeah.
the whole song type
Yeah.
deal and simple chords.
it's just something I can kind of ease myself into because I was a vocalist that played bass back in Detroit.
I've seen some of the photos you posted, the memory photos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do have a basic idea of how to play. It's just those strings on the guitar are so damn small
Thank you.
and sharp
Yes.
and annoying. And I've got, I don't exactly have a guitarist hands.
Are you saying you're a vocalist built from top to bottom?
It's the funny thing is most people think I'm the drummer when we walk in because of how I'm built. Oh, you must be the drummer. No, I'm the singer.
Poor Aaron.
Well, no, it's more of he's not there yet. So
He's not there.
They just
Yeah.
assume that.
I'm the one who's always late because I'm there an hour and a half before we have to play.
Yeah.
They're there like 3 hours before.
So I got to remind people, the day and age of the tall, thin, tan, long-haired lead singers is way, 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 way gone.
Yeah.
That it is. So what else would you guys like to go over before we start wrapping this thing up?
Come see us.
Come see us.
Well, absolutely.
Absolutely. That's still in the books that hasn't been canceled yet.
Well, as of right now,
Stuff's
what's
in April, right?
not canceled is it's probably going to get canceled. We're
Right.
playing at, or scheduled to play, Rollersville Tavern in Gibsonburg on
Okay.
April 4th from 9 to midnight. April 11th, we're scheduled to play Kips Retro, and I think that's probably 9 to 1 or something like that.
Yeah, or 9. I think it's like 9:30 to 2.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
April 25th, we were scheduled to play Speedways in Bradner.
Okay.
And then we didn't really have anything, I think, until end of May. And I don't have my schedule with me, unfortunately, so I'm not sure where that was.
Well, of course, when you get a chance, as always, make
absolutely.
sure you get that information to
Absolutely.
me so I can put it out there.
Yeah.
And
Well, because we've got one of the places we're scheduling is the Brick Wall in Adrian, Michigan.
okay.
So we've got some new venues coming up, which
New
is
venue.
really cool.
They have good food there.
They have good food there.
Yeah. These little sausage things that are in like pancake batter, they cook them.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah,
And
those are
then-
good.
And with the syrup, oh yeah.
Yeah, those are really good.
Yeah.
They do have good food up there.
It's another version of pigs in the blanket.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't hype it too much, then they're gonna cut when we get paid.
Oh,
They're gonna pay us in
and
pancake sausages.
sausage. Yeah.
Doesn't work for me, man.
Vegetables
Vegetables are nothing.
Yeah.
are nothing, huh? You're talking cabbage,
Yeah.
lettuce.
Yeah. Here's some sauerkraut, then we're good to go.
Ooh, sorry. There you go.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah,
if nobody
just-
rides with me on the way to the gig.
Keep yourselves
Healthy.
going with the
Yeah.
music. Stay healthy. Pay attention to the podcast and
Thank
the
you.
live streams. And
Yeah.
Yep.
Support music through live streams. Watch whatever you
Absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
'Cause I do
and
feel
it does,
that.
and I'm not even just talking my live streams. I'm talking in
Yeah,
general.
everybody that
In
posts.
general, anybody that is doing a live stream, pop in, try to support them the best you can. And like I said, I'm looking forward to hopefully you guys will do a live stream of a practice,
Yeah.
have 4 or 5 songs that, can also be recorded, and please send it to me because I wouldn't mind building an entire show, a 2-hour show here in the studio in the middle of the week with all your music. You guys and whoever else is doing it. I've been trying to get a hold of some other artists, and this is how they make their living. That's why we did last Friday's
Right.
show. Everybody there that played, that's their income.
Yeah.
right.
And I won't mention how much we made, at least not live, but I'll let you guys. We did decent for these people in a
Good.
3.5 hour
I
show.
I feel lucky because I have a full-time job,
Correct.
and right now I am still working.
As I got to work tonight.
But you have musicians. That's
Yes.
what they do. Aaron, he
I lost a significant amount, but I still have University of Toledo and Toledo Public for right now. So, but yeah, I lost a decent amount from missing gigs and stuff.
From that, and that's why Tim and I put together the event and stuff like that there at that venue. It's just the band, myself, the owner. That's it.
right.
And so we stay within compliance, but we're able to bring live entertainment.
Right.
So, all right. Well, if you guys are done and don't really any last thoughts there, Mike?
No, but thanks for having us on.
Oh, no, thank you.
It's awesome to be here and share music with everybody else.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll work on getting some of those videos and pics and
Please
stuff
do.
to you. And
Please do.
Keep spreading the word.
Oh, absolutely. Aaron.
Just keep supporting musicians. Like I said before,
Absolutely.
Watch the live streams, support people. If you have a couple of bucks to donate to people when they're doing
Yep.
live streams, do it. If you don't, just support them with love and watching them
And sharing it
stuff.
so maybe
Sharing
somebody else
it,
can
yeah.
support that
Right.
can
Right.
support, financially help out.
Yeah.
So, Brian.
Pretty much what these guys have been saying. Keep supporting the live music. Keep yourself safe, and keep an eye on stuff like this, because you get your mind off of what's going on for however long, whatever thing you're watching lasts. This is 45 minutes or so.
Honestly, sir, we're an hour and 22 minutes into what
All
we're
right.
doing.
Wow. Nice.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Exactly.
But, yeah, just
And we basically, what's really cool before we get to Zeb, because I know he hasn't got anything to say anyhow.
All right, one thing.
You have one thing. All right, then we're going to get to you. Keep that in mind. What's really been nice about this is we found a little bit more history about you guys. Things have been happening at shows, a little backstories, and we didn't repeat our first show.
Right.
Yeah.
I was a little concerned about that. I'm not going to lie. I'm thinking, all right, these guys are coming back. What the hell am I going to say?
Well, like I said, there's a
but
lot
you
to
guys
happen.
covered it. You guys actually covered it beautiful. You didn't need me. You could have sat here in front of this camera and just did what you did, and all I would have had to do is make sure the volumes were good.
Honestly, a lot's happened since last time we were here, so
Yeah.
that's kind of cool.
And when things get back rolling in the clubs, in the bars, we're gonna have you back, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're gonna, and then one of your other big shows, we'll promo it,
Sounds great.
and maybe we can have some of that video, to use with the live stream as a promo as well.
Yeah.
Maybe make your own commercial. We'll
you
get
go.
together, Mike, you and I, and stuff like that. All right, Zeb.
I have to go to the bathroom.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. A man of few words that mean a lot.
He doesn't talk much, but when he does,
It's very important.
Yeah.
It's very important. All right, folks, I do want to thank you all for tuning in, and those of you that have been watching the show live here. Apparently, it's been going live, even though I have no preview, but we've been getting comments from everybody, and thank you again for supporting these wonderful, wonderful musicians. Make sure you stay in touch with either Brian or the rest of the guys and myself on their shows. We'll post the shows, even if they're not currently happening, because we may have one week where we do the show posting, and that week they open up the
It
venues.
actually happens.
So
Right, yeah.
I want to continue to do that. We'll do that for the Wednesday shows, and make sure you guys, like they said, support all of these musicians. Aaron's looking a little thin. Maybe send a little bit his way. Food donations, whatever you got. So
Gotta be
Veggies
vegetables, though.
Yeah,
vegetables,
vegetables only. Yeah,
vegetables only.
I'm a big fan of hummus. So
I like the garlic hummus.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm not a
that's
big
good stuff.
fan of the vegetarian diet.
Yeah.
But I'll tear that apart. But anyhow, and again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for stopping in. And this has been Glass City Podcast at the CMB Production Studios with String Jettison. Let me spit that one out for y'all. All right, gentlemen, say goodnight to everybody. We're going to fade on
See
out
ya.
of here.
See you guys.
Talk to you later, Detroit.